सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासम् शरीरं मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्याम् भूरिविश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया विहितः श्रुतम् मे गोपाय। शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रम् कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रम् पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वापुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानगणः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधिताम् भगवता नारायणेन स्वयम् भासेन ग्रथिताम् पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीम् भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीतेमवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। मूकम् करोति वाचालम् पङ्गुम् लङ्घयते गिरिम् यत्कृपातमहम् वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यम् ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यत्सामगाः। स्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यम् योगिनः यस्यान्तम् न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै। At the end of this chapter, Lord himself tells in the last verse, idam guhyatamam shastram idamuktam mayanaga etad buddha buddhiman syat krata pratyasya bharat. Hey Arjun, this is the most guhyatamam, most profound scripture I have told you. Shastra. Gita is a Shastra. So this verse should have been told at the end of the whole Bhagavad Gita, at the 18th chapter. But Lord tells at the end of the 15th chapter itself. Because what all is said in a Shastra is said in nutshell in this chapter itself. In Adhyatma Shastra, what we yesterday discussed as spiritual knowledge, these are the main things which are discussed. One, as I said yesterday, partly nature of Jivatma, I the individual. Second, nature of this world, the Jagat, Idam. And third person, nature of the Lord. And in the process, reveal the identity of it. Jiv, Jagat, Ishwar, Aikyam. And since they are one, therefore Jagat is Mithya. And Jivatmatvam is also Mithya. That is told. As well as two more things, the phalam of this knowledge. What do you gain when you get this knowledge? That is moksha. Kratakratyasya bharata. Or earlier also he says, Yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam. The moksha phalam. And who is qualified for this knowledge? That adhikari also is told. So adhikari is told, Jiv, Jagat, Ishwar, Swarupa, and their Aikyam is revealed. And lastly, the moksha phalam. All this is told in these just 20 verses. Therefore, this chapter itself becomes like a Shastra, and it is very oftenly studied, well known among the traditional people. As such, since it's a 15th chapter, there are 14 chapters that have gone by. Lord has been teaching to Arjuna, and this teaching is in continuation with what he has told earlier. Shankaracharya ji gives continuation in the beginning of this chapter in his Sangati Bhashya. From 13th chapter onwards, Lord has been talking about the identity between Jiva and Ishvara, that you are one with the Lord, non-separate. What creates a sense of separateness is, that was said yesterday we saw, Karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. Karanam, what is the cause? Guna sangaha. The attachment to guna, identification with upadhi, born out of ignorance. And how to get out of it? There, in the end, 14th chapter, Lord says, Mam chayo abhavicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Sagunan samatitetan brahma bhuyaya kalpit. He emphasized bhakti. He says a bhakta becomes trigunatita and gains the moksha. In the Shankaracharya says, no doubt the result of an action depends upon the karma phal data Ishvara, but here Lord says, moksha also depends upon me. In a way, it looks little contradictory, because moksha means knowledge. And knowledge is not something to be physically given. Although knowledge depends upon pramana vyapara, means of knowledge, when adequate means of knowledge is used, and the object of knowledge being there, it is spontaneous. It has to take place. But here, in case of Atma Gnanam, in spite of having adequate means of knowledge, namely a competent traditional teacher teaching the Shastra. Object of knowledge is always available, that is myself, Atma, which is never absent, and that too self-revealing self. Still the knowledge doesn't take place, because the internal conditions necessary for gaining the knowledge in terms of antahkarana shuddhi, not only purity but little subtlety of the minds. Drashyate tvagraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshevi. Yamaraja tells to Nachiketa, it requires a subtle intellect also. Because the whole problem is of identification, born out of ignorance. The whole process is to de-identify myself from upadhi, and that calls for little subtle intellect also. That not being ready, the pursuit of knowledge also will not start or will not move, much less the knowledge will take place. Therefore, here the primary means of knowledge is Shravanam, because praptasya prapti. We shall see in the next couple of, after 3-4 verses. But then Mananam and Nididhyasanam is also necessary. Like here, when I say what is this, then it is pot. Eyes are the means and you saw the pot, and this is pot, that's full stop. You don't need to do Mananam. Can it be pot or not? Let me remove the doubt. That will not happen. And you may not make mistake anything. In any other knowledge, possibility of doubts are less, much less possibility of error, wrong thinking. But here it is there, and therefore Manan Nididhyasana is necessary, and that is why we need a grace to have a proper internal infrastructure. Of course, that is why they say by grace of the Lord you gain the knowledge, bhakti. Not only internal, external infrastructure also is necessary so that I can pursue the knowledge without any hindrance. Shankaracharya ji says, Lord told bhakti yoga, and even that bhakta can gain the knowledge. What to talk of a person who is ready for the knowledge? He will be liberated. That's what Lord is going to tell in this chapter in the beginning. But before coming to it, there is a description of this samsara. What is this samsara? What is this world? Somehow this simile of equating samsara with vruksha, tree, is there in Shastras. It is there in Upanishad, Vedas, it is there in Mahabharata, it is there in Purana and in Bhagavad Gita also. The whole world, samsara, is equated as a vruksha. Why? Why they say it's equated to vruksha? When you give some example, there should be similarity between the example and for which an example is given. Between example means drashtanta and dashtanta, for which drashtanta dashtantayoho samyam bhavitumarati amshiki. Some partial, yes. What is the similarity? Just as you can cut asunder the tree, so also the samsara vruksha also can be cut. And then you can uproot the tree. So also samsara also can be uprooted. Vrushanat vruksha. That is why this upama is given. It is like a big tree. And just as the various limbs of the tree are there, like leaves and the branches and secondary roots, etc., they are also compared with these different aspects of our samsara. And that's how they give this upama. And look at the shloka, first one. Urdhva moolamadash shakham ashvatham prahuravyayam Chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda sa vedavit. Sorry. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolamadash-shakham Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda sa vedavit. Bhagavan says, Eshaha samsara vrukshaha. This tree, samsara vrukshaha, tree of samsara, is what? Urdhva moolam. Okay? It has its roots above. Adashakham. Branches are below. Shakha means branch. Adaha means below. Moolam means roots. Urdhva means above. Urdhva moolam. Urdhva means above, moolam means roots. And then Ashwatham Prahuhu. Ashwatham means this tree which has branches and this is with the roots above and the branches below is Ashwatha, name of the tree, or you can say it is not permanent. At the same time, Ahuhu Avyayam. Some say, they say this, Avyayam means imperishable. There is a contradiction, we shall see. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Chandamsi means Vedas. Vedas are like the leaves of this tree, and one who knows Yaha Tam Veda, one who knows this tree, Saha Vedavit, is a knower of Vedas. Okay? So, Lord describes, gives a name to this samsara tree as Ashwatha. In botanical name is Ficus religiosa, they call it. It is one of the banyan tree family, same. Ashwatha. Etymologically, this is tomorrow it will not be there, impermanent, and at the same time imperishable. Tree having roots above and branches below. And the Vedas are the leaves, and one who knows the tree knows the Veda. See, this is all translation problem. People not understanding the things in a proper context, listening or reading these words, many Western scholars have said, this is all the prattlings of the rishis. And some of them have gone to the extent of saying they had some surapan also. Listen, this is where you need a proper tradition to understand the context. What somebody said yesterday, different meanings are there. There are not different meanings. Any verse to understand, you should know what is told before and what is told thereafter. That is context. And what is the total vision for which this is being told. Not knowing that, these problems come. First of all, please understand the purpose of discussion is not to describe samsara. It is not to give knowledge about samsara vruksha. The purpose is different. First is to create a vairagya, dispassion, necessary mindset for the knowledge, and second purpose is to give knowledge about the root of this samsara. root of the tree. So that is not the objective, that we let you know this tree. No, we want to drive the person to the roots. Now what is it? Urdhvam. See, above and below, though these are the words used in context of the spatial difference, in terms of space. But quite often, they are not used in terms of space also. Here, they are used in terms of cause and effect. Okay? Urdhva means that is the cause. Adaha means that is the effect. In other words, cause is always superior to the effect. More so this kind of creation, we shall see. In terms of superiority and inferiority also, Urdhva and Adaha words are used in almost all Indian vernacular languages. Suppose in the office, someone says, do this, this has to be done. Then the next fellow will ask the other one, who said? Says, order has come from above. Upar se hukam hai. Upar means Urdhva. Urdhva means what? Superior something. So the root is superior than the tree. How this cause-effect relationship, which we shall discuss in the last end of the chapter, between the Creator and the creation is very unique. The Creator, Brahman, the Shastra talks about Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asit, from which the whole creation has come. That is formless, that is limitless consciousness. The cause is of different nature and the effect is just opposite. Effect is with the form, limited, bound by time and space. How can this be possible? Therefore they say, creations are two types, or the cause is twofold. Parinami upadana karanam and vivarta upadana. How can the cause create something which is absolutely contradictory? Generally, yatha karanam tathaiva karyam. As the cause, so the effect. See, Brahman is limitless awareness, creation also should be that, which is that only. But still appears to be different. How? Exactly like my dream. I am one and I create many. Advitiya becomes Sadviti. I am the conscious entity, but still there is inert thing, objects in the dream. I create myself. And that creation is in fact as though creation. There is no real dream. The very word dream itself means unreal. As though it appears to be many, it appears to be limited, and therefore there is no creation also. But then why are you saying if there is no creation, then how is its cause? Since you are seeing the creation, to draw your attention that there is no creation, we impute karanatvam, causeness, on Brahman and say that is a cause. Like fellow takes the dream to be real, then he is told, wait, this is not real, creator is someone else. To bring home the point that there is no creation. In other words, the whole creation is an apparent creation. Therefore, we have something, cause to establish the inexplicable relationship between the Brahman, the cause and effect, the Jagat. We have Maya. Agatita Gatana Patiyasi. That Maya which is capable of creating something which is not happened. There is some factor by which sleeping here in my bedroom, an air-conditioned room, I find myself suffering in a desert. How? That you cannot explain. But as long as the fellow is in dream, he or she thinks it's real, I am really, suppose, think of this. The fellow is seeing a dream, and in a dream he is there in a desert. Went for safari, desert safari in Middle East, And while he was watching, the car went away and he is alone. And the fellow is thirsty and wondering, what will I do, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly a Swami comes there. In that dream, think of and tell, hey, this is mithya. You are not thirsty. You are not hungry. You are not lost. You are one. Everything is you. You will say, what are you talking? Everything. How can I be all? What is the answer? The fellow is asking for a cause of an effect which is not there. So to explain the buddhi which always cause something, to explain, we say maya, we say magic in English. But magic itself is not there. So this inexplicable relationship is established by maya, and therefore cause is urdhvam and effect is adha. There is no upar niche in a space, up down. Sometimes why I am emphasizing again, because in India you will find this, sometimes when you go to some temples, they have drawn this picture with tree like hanging like this. It is not physical, it is to show that cause which created this world has not at all undergone any change in creating. Just as I, the dreamer, who created the dream without undergoing any kind of change. Not only in creation, in sustenance also, whatever happens, suppose there is a big fire in a dream, I remain untouched. That asangatvam is called transcendental nature. Because whole is adhyaropita. That Atma, the consciousness, remains untouched by the whole creation because the so-called creation is superimposed. Exactly like it will go, or let's take this good pot example. There is a pot here. When you ask me, how come, what from the pot is created? The answer is, pot is created from what? Clay. Is it? Pot is created from clay. Now, when I ask you, where is pot? You will say, Swamiji, it is right in your hand. But I can ask you, in my hand it is clay. Wherever I touch, there is no pot. I say, this is clay. This is clay, this is clay, everywhere it is clay. Clay without undergoing any intrinsic change has created a pot. And the pot is destroyed and nothing happens to clay. Here at least something may happen because you need to make a paste of a clay to create a pot. But then this is called as nama rupatmakam jagat. Pot is just a form. And it has been given a name by mutual understanding. In English we call pot. In Sanskrit we call ghataha. Suppose they had decided tagaha, we would have been calling tagaha all along. It's vacha rambhanam vikaro namadheyam, just names. Same also sadeva. Only that Sad Brahma appears as the whole creation. Therefore, which creation? Which is only Nam Rupa. Therefore it is called Urdhva Mula. And just as the clay remains untouched, you do anything to the pot, pot breaks, but the clay doesn't break. So also, Brahman, the cause of the creation being such, technically called as Vivarta Upadana Karanam. That being the case, it is called Urdhva Mula. And just to explain you further, that is why we chant this in Purusha Suktam. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutva. That infinite Purusha created this world, universe. Vishwataha Sarvataha Avrutya. He pervades the whole creation all along. And the next verse is Atyatishtat Dashangula. He is in and through as well as beyond. That beyondness means what? Not that part of it has been created and lot of Bhagavan is sitting in heaven. Little bit he threw and created the world. No. Ati atisthate. Atisthate means ati. Atitaha bhutva means the transcendental. It is untouched by the so-called creation. I create the whole dream and still the creator is independent of the creation. The dream world depends on me, the creator, but I exist on my own, independent of it. That independence is atyatishtat dashangula. Or they say, Pado osya vishwa bhutani tripadasya divi. Tripad, 3/4 is there, only 1/4. It's symbolic. Meaning there, in spite of being in and through, clay being in and through the pot, clay is beyond pot. Because what is created is only nama rupam, therefore it is said urdhva moolam. And that moolam is Brahman, which is atindriyam, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa and gandha rahitam, whereas this jagat is panch gunatmakam, full of these 5 gunas, and therefore it is adha in terms of inferiority and superiority. And he says, Ashwatham Prahu. As I said, Ficus religiosia is a botanical name belonging to Banyan family. But then Ashwatha word also reveals its nature. Shvaha means tomorrow. Shvathaha, that which remains tomorrow. Ashwathaha, that will not remain tomorrow. And the next word is avyayam. Avyayam means what? Imperishable. Now there also appears contradiction. That which is not going to be there tomorrow, how can you say it is imperishable? The meaning is constantly changing. Ashwatha means kshana banguram, kshane kshane pradvamsinam, vikari. Every moment it changes. What is available in time T1, it's never ever available in time T2. Whether at a micro level or macro level. The whole creation, if you look at it, it is in a constant state of flux. Things are changing. And that is what Maya is. That in spite of things constantly changing, fellow doesn't recognize. And they say, doctors say this, within 7 years, every cell of the body is changed. What I and you were there before 7 years are not there today. 100% changes have taken place, That servicing takes place all along. Maintenance. Maintenance is changing. But you don't see change. And somehow this is Maya, A fellow looks at the mirror and thinks, I am the same who was yesterday. But they say, every day when the sun rises and sun sets, it eats away a chunk of your life, One morsel of prarabdha eats away. And changes take place. But the fellow looks at the mirror right from waking up, washing the face, brushing and all the time, getting ready, but doesn't see the change. Then he happens to meet one of his friend with his family. After 5 years, the friend's daughter, when he saw, was just 8 or 9 years. She is now 14, teenage girl. And he interviewed, this is my daughter. Oh, you've grown so big. Oh, idiot, you have grown old. Why don't you see that? That he doesn't see. Oh, you have grown big. But I am getting old, nobody sees. This is Maya. The changes takes place. Kshane, moment to moment. Even this cosmologists have found out the sun, the change is taking place after so many years, there will not be sun. whole galaxy, everything is changing. Nothing is permanent. You cannot say this is like this always, and that is why, little addition and digression of the subject, even interpretation of the values also change from time to time and situation to situation. Nothing is absolute. That also has to be interpreted in proper context. Ashwatham, but then avyayam. Avyayam means what? Imperishable. How it is imperishable? From 2-3 perspectives. Anadi kala pravrutatvat avyayam. It is there since beginningless times. Why it is there? Maya karyam, maya mayam. It is because of Maya. There it is there, beginningless of time. It keeps changing all the time, but doesn't die away. What is the system? From one manifestation to another manifestation, in between little unmanifestation. Avyaktadini bhutani, vyakta madhyani bharata, avyakta nidhananneva tatraka paridevana. The whole cyclic thing goes on. One form changes to other form. In between there is a state, so-called state, where it is formless. Exactly like our sleep. Waking up is manifestation of Jivatma, sleep is unmanifestation of Jivatma. Again waking up, the manifestation, again sleep is a unmanifestation. The whole samasti, Utpatti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Then Utpatti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Pralaya, Utpatti, Sthiti. It goes on and on. Its whole thing is cycling. Manifestation to unmanifested. 8th chapter also Lord says in the Gita, Avyaktad vyakta sarvaha prabhavante haragame ratragame praliyante tatraiva avyakta sannake. It goes back to unmanifestation. Pralaya time, karma phalas. And then comes to. Moreover, see, this samsara, the world, there are 2 words. In English, I don't have a synonym, at least I may not be knowing. This world has 2 words. One is Jagat and second is Samsara. Jagat means world consisting of objects and beings and situations. But the world is converted into Samsara. Understand? Samsara means binding, painful. That is samsara only when there is a samsari. The fellow himself is a samsari. Samsari means ignorant. As long as the ignorant fellow is there, the world of objects becomes samsara. Samsara means dukkha karanam. Whole world is paining. That's all. Samsara means sees the world outside as a source of unhappiness and happiness, source of insecurity. That is samsara. Otherwise it's a world to be dealt with objectively. Like that. It's not non-binding for a wise man. But then who is an ignorant person, samsari, for him or her the jagat is samsara. In fact, Lord has not created samsara. Lord has created a jagat. We convert it into samsara. In typical Puja Swamiji often says this, they have this word. In every Indian vernacular language they have. Once the fellow gets married, they say, oh, now I have entered into samsara. I have come into samsara. And in Tamil, the Swamiji quotes this, his experience. When he comes with his wife, he told the other day somebody, he says, Swamiji, I have come with my samsara. She may tell also, I have come with my samsaro, pulling. See, when she comes with the husband, just getting married, having a person in one's life to relate in certain way, doesn't make samsara. If a relationship makes samsara, or the fellow says, oh, now I have a big samsara because, Swamiji, I bought a house and I have a business. If house and business is samsara, Puja Swamiji should be the greatest samsari. With so many disciples and so many ashrams and so much work. It is when you lose the objectivity, objects become samsara. And the objectivity comes when you know the subject properly, as the subject is. Which is mithya. Ahankara is mithya. Knowing the mithyatva of ahankara, knowing the self as a consciousness, this is world. But this samsara, since it is born out of samsari, and samsari in turn being born out of ignorance, it is eternal. Why? Ignorance will not go by itself. Any ignorance. You have to put in effort to know the truth. And unless one pursues the knowledge, ignorance will not go. Ignorance is anadi, beginningless. It will hold on. Of course, once it goes, it will not come back also. But then one has to expose to proper means of knowledge. And the problem is more confounded over here. Like in other ignorance pertaining to other objects, one can make other know or remove the ignorance forcefully also. Suppose someone doesn't want to see something. And I don't want to see, I'm closing my eyes. I don't want to know. You can forcefully open the eyes. I don't want to hear anything. No, I'm closing. Then sometimes the children, when mom and children, then mom closes. The children pulls. You have to listen. You can make the person know forcefully. What can you do about self-knowledge? You have to know Atma Brahman. What will happen? Nothing happens. This knowledge is such that there should be jignasa first. Then only this teaching will work. Forcefully opening the eyes may make him see. But forcefully bringing somebody to Puja Swamiji's talks doesn't make him wiser. Either emotional force also people put in. You should come, you should come. Here my Swamiji is great and it is a nice topic, blah, blah, blah. You can see. And the fellow comes to oblige you. You know what they say, typical Indian? So great. Your Swami is great. Huh? You are doing great work. That's it. You are doing great. I am a Sangha. That sankalpa result doesn't, yes, I should pursue it. Yes, it's something I should know. Doesn't come. There is no jignasa. So ignorance will not go. Here we shall see later on, even the means of knowledge teaching is available. And the fellow is made to sit in the class, but nothing will work. Nothing will work. I remember I had one friend, and I took to this, and I was so thrilled with this, and attended the course, and Swamiji happened to come to Baroda. He is a very senior person, in a big company, MIS chief, and number 2 in the hierarchy, 1,000 plus crore company. I thought he is an intelligent person. I thought so. I had a feeling. And then I called him, you should come and Swamiji in Baroda, go and attend. You know what did he give me the feedback? Your Swami is talking the same thing all the 3 days. I am not going. Same thing he is talking. I told him, I often tell, when Puja Swamiji inaugurated our course, this is the beauty of this teaching. He said, the very first day, he says, what I am going to talk today, the same thing I will be talking after 3 years. And please don't misunderstand, it will not be a concluding remark. I am going to talk the same thing day in and day out. And then the next sentence was very interesting. But I promise you, every day you will be waiting to listen to me. You know what he said? I am going to unfold that self about which you have no complaint. Each one of us love ourselves. Atmanastu kamaya, priyam bhavati. Na kadachid amaham priya, naham apriya. Who doesn't like to look at the mirror? Everybody loves it. All gestures they make. Even the fellow or felly took half an hour, 1 hour to get ready. When he gets into elevator again, fixes it. He's okay. And the fellow with hardly 20 hair, this 10, this side. When he gets into car, he will again use the rear mirror. You just love to see the self. And unfortunately, the self that you see, you have so many complaints. Still you love. I am going to show you the self which is free from all complaints. Therefore, each day will be more joyous than the previous. That was the promise he gave us. And this fellow says, he is talking the same thing, I got bored. I said, I am bored with listening to you. Problem is not with him, problem is with you. That is why this is abhyayam. Samsara will never go. You expose the person to the teaching. Unless the fellow has that necessary subtle intellect, necessary shuddhi, it will not work. And I was really taken away. What is he talking? That Swamiji we had heard and who inspired us to join the course was good. He is talking. That was a big question in my mind. Because he began saying, I am going to say the same thing all the 3 years. I said, it's going to be boring. Then he says, each day will be more pleasant than the previous, joyous than the previous. Then obviously there was akanksha. How can it be? When the same thing is taught. At the end of it I had to say, you were right. So that is the teaching. But since person has jignasa, otherwise it is avyayam, ignorance will never go. For an objective ignorance, one can force the knowledge. Even in objective ignorance, you can stumble upon it, like stumbling upon the penicillin. You can never stumble upon the Atma, because the stumbler is Atma. To be stumbled upon Atma is not an object, it is a very subject. By accident, I was sitting on Ganges bank and I fell off, and for a moment I swooned and accidentally Atma surfaced. That doesn't happen. Because the surfacer and the surfaced are same. So this is samsara is, they say, is avyayam, imperishable, eternal. Understand why samsara is called eternal? Because samsari is eternal. Why is eternal? The samsaritvam, the samsarihood is because of ignorance. And ignorance can never go without employing the means of knowledge. And here, even when the means of knowledge is employed, when the fellow is not ready, nothing will happen. Ignorance is sitting on Atma. Atma is asanga. Ignorance also is asanga. The fellow is not ready. Oh, okay, he talked good, Swami talked good. And what all he remembers? Only the jokes. Not much to only the story. And the fellow will say, Swamiji is a good storyteller. I didn't bring you for that. I don't want Swami to put your baby to bed and use the stories. You want the stories. Doesn't work. Therefore it says, Avyayam. Who says? Prahu. Wise men says this. Those who know the truth, they say this. And then, in other words, in technical sense, there are two types of eternity to explain. One, Atyantika Nityatva. In absolute sense, one which is eternal, and second is Pravaha Nityatva. Constantly changing, but it continues to be there in one form or other. That is Pravaha Nityatvam. This Jivatma also is Pravaha Nitya. Goes from one yoni to another yoni, one birth to another birth, one bhoga to another bhoga, one loka to another loka, goes on and on. It doesn't come to end. That is called, that Jivatma is samsari, and that samsari is avyayam. How does it continue? What is the force that gives this nityatva? How does tree survive, even though changing? Where does it get the strength? Obviously, Chandamsi yasya parnani. The foliage is very important in protecting the tree, for sustaining and the source of vitality. Yeah, I'm sure all of us know this photosynthesis gives the vitality. It pulls the sap from the tree and the tree survives. If you remove all the leaves, the tree will die. You know, any tree just dies. Here it is. What are the leaves? Chandamsi. Chandamsi means Vedas. Here, Vedas doesn't mean Vedanta, okay? Vedanta just works just the opposite. Vedas gives the sustenance. Vedas are the source of vitality for the tree to survive. In fact, Vedanta cuts the tree. It works the just opposite. Vedas means sadhana sadhya yukta karma kanda. Here Veda means that karma kanda section of Vedas, that section of Vedas which reveals various means and ends. Those in Mundaka Upanishad language we can say aparavidya, that knowledge of certain means and ends, which includes not only Vedas include Laukik karmas also, modern karmas also. So you can say not only the ends talked about in Veda, heaven, etc., are chandas, but all TV advertisements are also chandas, which keeps the fellow busy running after one or other thing, doing various karmas for various karma phalas. So Laukik karmas, Laukika bhogas are also chandamsi. It is implied. When say Vedas, chandamsi means karmakanda and Laukik karmas and karma phalas are chandamsi. That means what? This, it will come. Nanu, vimudha nanu pashyanti gnana chakshusha. There we shall see in the Bhashya, he says, drashta drashta bhoga bala akrushtaha janaha. Very nicely Shankaracharya mentions. Somehow there is an infatuation, subjective infatuation for various sense objects. Each one has something or other. And that keeps the fellow running, pursuing that and giving rise to new karmas and new karma phalas, and that's how the whole samsara continues. He will explain it further in the next sloka. But therefore, here Vedas means sadhana sadhya karmani karma phalani cha are chandamsi, which sustains the tree, which gives its vitality of samsara. Samsari is there as long as fellow is busy in achieving one or other thing. That is samsari. And he says, yastam veda, one who knows this is a Vedavit. That means what? Now we have known this. So we are Vedavit. No, that is not the meaning. Vedavit means what? The point is tam moolam Veda. Okay? Tam Veda means urdhva moolam yaha Veda yasmat adashakha yuktaha vrukshaha agataha yasmat chandamsi pranani ityadi agatani tam moolam Veda. Okay? One who knows that root from whom this tree has come. Tree whose leaves are Vedas, Chandas, Karmakanda, Vibhaga is Chandamsi, and that tree which is called Ashwatha tree, that which is called very imperishable, that the samsara vrukshasya moolam yaha janati saha Vedavid. Okay? See, this knowledge of the tree is useful only if you know the root of it. Otherwise, any samsaric knowledge of the tree means any knowledge about anything in this world, doesn't make the person wiser. You may ask me, no, Swamiji, how do you say? There are Nobel laureate people. They are so knowledgeable. They have contributed to humanity. I agree. They are knowledgeable, all right, in terms of objective knowledge. But then, whether you are a Nobel laureate or an ordinary person, the Jivatma samsari continues. It is only embellishment to Jivatma. Exactly like the fellow is a pauper. He is begging for some 20 rupees or 10 rupees. And there is a millionaire. But both are same. What? Both think that I don't have enough money. Both have that thinking. Last time I told you this. This fellow was begging in front of a temple in Bombay, Mahalakshmi temple. And he said, he was sitting in typical, and a rich guy came, diamond-studded couple of rings on both the hands and diamond-studded rado wristwatch and suit and designer blah blah blah, and rotating the keychain of his E-class Mercedes. He enters. This beggar tells him, "Oh brother, come here." What is it? He shouted, "Hey brother!" Then he looked around, maybe calling someone else. He said, "Oh no brother, I'm calling you." He said, "What?" He says, nostrils went in. Did prayer and came back. The fellow was waiting. "Oh brother, come here." This fellow got so wild. What the hell do you mean by calling brother? We are brothers professionally. What do you mean by professionally? I am a businessman. Don't you see this card? Don't you see this ring? You are begging for 20 rupees. Each ring is 20 lakhs diamonds I am wearing on my one finger. On my body I have millions of rupees. Still professionally saying. He got more wild. What the hell do you mean? I am begging outside. You begged inside. That's all the difference is. The sense of insufficiency doesn't go. Sense of lack doesn't go. Sense of being limited doesn't go. Sense of being dukhi doesn't go. That is Jivatma. Any knowledge you have or any acquisition one gains out of this world, that the nimitta, the cause changes. Fellow feels satisfied in my field, I am who's who. But then I have problem with my wife, that is samsari. My government doesn't recognize me. That dukkha, that begging fellow, seeking some joy, happiness. So any knowledge or any possession doesn't make the person full. Any finite added, any extra finite remains finite. You cannot create infinity out of finite. This Vedavid, one who knows Moolam, not simply knowing, oh, Brahman is Jagat Karan. Now I am full, that Karanam Ahamasmi. I am that Brahman, that knowledge is Vedavid. Understand? Not simply knowing the tree, much less knowing the cause of the tree, but discovering the identity between the cause and me. The self and the total being one, I am that limitless Brahman. That fellow is Vedaviti. That is the knowledge. We shall see that further in next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.